not that kind of quants, it will be like a commercial quants. So we are going to talk about statistics, we are going to talk about probability, we are going to talk about, like some other topics like, how to calculate growth rates and how to calculate averages. So this is where the focus is in case of quants. Now, if you want to do a valuation of a company, or if you want to do an analysis of a company, it's impossible to do it, right, without knowing economics. So here we do microeconomics as well as macroeconomics. This is like core finance in the sense that we do, there's a topic called financial reporting and analysis. So here, guys, the focus is not on how to prepare finance, how to prepare accounts. The focus is more on how to read accounts. So as a chartered accountant student, you focuses a lot more on journal entries, ledgers, and preparing those accounts. But here we are not going to discuss anything like the golden rules of accounting. We are not going to discuss debit what comes in, credit what goes out. The focus will be more on that if you have got the company's financial statements in front of you, how to analyze it. Now, that being said, the only way you analyze it is that you should have some knowledge how these statements are prepared. So only for that extent we'll get into that what these statements are about and how those statements are prepared, but will not actually prepare those statements as a part of CFA curriculum, right? And then there's a topic called corporate finance, which is more about, we'll give you some of the fundamentals, in this case, how to understand finance and how to do the calculation, which is with respect to the company's profitability. So once you know all of these enablers, guys, this is which are the asset classes. So for example, as a let's say if a client gave you 1 crore rupees, that 1 crore rupees can be invested into stock markets, which is what we call as equity investment. That out of that 1 crore rupees, a few of that money can be invested into debentures and bonds. That's nothing but fixed income. That money can be invested into futures and options. That's nothing but derivatives. Or it can be invested somewhere else. For example, that money could be invested into land, to buy a house, to buy gold as an investment, to buy oil as an investment, all of that. So all of that will be covered in your alternative investment. So these are the 4 asset classes. So if you get money from a client, you can invest that money in all of these asset classes. And guys, all of these asset classes combined is called the portfolio. So this is the whole end goal, that with those enablers, with those asset classes, you should become a portfolio manager. That if somebody gives you like some money, you should be able to understand and analyze the company's financial statements, and you should know what's happening in the economy. So you can decide how the client's money should be put in different asset classes. And as a result, you can generate the maximum profit for the client while taking minimal risk. So you guys, right, if you see like over the from level 1 to level 3, the weightage for the portfolio management keeps increasing. So there's an increasing focus with each passing level that you become a better and better portfolio manager. In level 1, the weightage is limited because the only way you can do portfolio management is after you do the enablers. But by the level 3, they assume that you're good with all those enablers. So the focus increases on the portfolio management. Okay, so now in this case, guys, there is a difference between the pattern, like when it used to be paper-based exam versus a computer-based exam now. So in a computer-based exam, the number of questions have become less. So when it was a paper like physical exams, there used to be 240 questions. Now there are 180 questions. But don't get excited. The time has also been reduced on a proportionate basis. It used to be a 3-hour exam. Now it's a 2-hour 25, 2 hours 15 minutes exam. So there'll be 2 sessions of 2 hours 25 minutes in the morning and 2 hours 25 minutes in the afternoon. So in the morning, there'll be 90 questions. In the afternoon, there'll be 90 questions. So total, there will be 180 questions. So guys, for doing those 180 questions, you got 2 hours 15 minutes in the morning, 2 hours 15 minutes in the afternoon. Total you got 4.5 hours. If you do the calculation, 4.5 hours would mean that 270 minutes. So technically for each question, you got a minute and a half. So that's the broad expectation, that you can do questions in 90 seconds on an average. Some questions might take you longer, some questions might take you shorter, but on an average, the difficulty of the questions are such that you should not take more than 90 seconds on an average. As you know that in level 1, everything is multiple choice questions. There will be 3 multiple choice questions. You have to choose one. There's no negative marking. So generally it's preferred that you attempt all the questions. Even if you don't know, guesswork is preferred. Sorry, not preferred, but instead of leaving the question unattempted, you should do the guesswork. But there's always a probability you might get it right. And because there's no negative marking, it doesn't make sense to leave it unmarked. Now, guys, as I told you, it's like 4.5 hours split equally in the morning and afternoon session. So 2 hours, 15 minutes in the morning, 2 hours, 15 minutes in the afternoon. And the problem here, guys, like I would not call it a problem, but the entire results, what CFA gives, they do not give you a mark like, out of 100, you got 75 or 80 or 90. They give you a broad range. For example, they'll tell you for each and every topic, whether you got less than 50, 50 to 70, or more than 70. And eventually they'll tell you whether you've passed the exam or you've not passed the exam. So there's no ranking, there's no scoring. There's a scoring, but overall they give you a result which is more in the form of pass or fail. And guys, as you can see here, that the one of the key important thing to crack the exam is you get the ethics right, because that's like very high weightage. You see 15 to 20%, and also to get your FRA, which is again a very high weightage. So ethics and FRA, these are the two which are the most highly weighted topics. Now, guys, for level 1 CF exams, like I think this date is already gone. So now I think you can attempt. So you cannot attempt the May exam. I think you can attempt the August and the November exams. So if you register now, these are the only options you have for level 1. I think for May, the dates are already gone. The exam centers, guys, first of all, it's an online exam, but with, even then, like the exam centers for the online classes, for the online test centers is like in most of the tier 1 and tier 2 cities. And another important thing to know is that exams don't being held only on a single day. It's just like a GMAT exam. So, you'll get a window of like 8 to 10 days. So let's say for the May exams, they'll tell you that you can choose a date between 25th May till 5th June. And in those 10 days, pick a date which is convenient for you, pick a test center which is convenient for you. On that particular day, go to a particular test center and write the exams. So guys, I've not spent too much time, but as I told you that, level 1 exams, August 21 and November 21. May, for May, we are already too late. So you can go for August or November if you're not registered yet. But if you already registered, then obviously you can write the May exam as well. Now, the key point is like, where to study from for CFA. So there are multiple, like one thing is you go from the CFA curriculum. So, once you register for the exams, they'll give you a soft copy. And also you have an option to get the hard copies for CFA. So that's like the curriculum. That's the main curriculum. But the problem with that main curriculum, guys, is that it's too lengthy. And CFA says that you should study for 300 hours to 350 hours to clear your level 1 exam. But don't take it otherwise, but it's like a general, it's a well-known fact, I would say, that we Indians are a bit slower when it comes to reading speed. So maybe for somebody sitting in the US who's a native English speaker, that person might read those curriculum books in 300 hours. But for me, I'll take like 600 hours. right? So if you want to go with those curriculum books, good, but make sure that you can schedule 600 hours before your exams to complete those books, and plus some time for revision and some mock exams. If you think you do not have so much time, then the other alternative would be Swayzer books. So there are many of them. Like there's a Swayzer. I'll just write the name so that you can get it right. Just give me a second. So I said curriculum books is one option, which will take like maybe more than 600 hours, I would say. The other option is like, you go through Swayzer books. They are like, much, sorry for the spelling. Yeah. So they are like a summarized version of it, but you can easily do that in like, I would say 350 hours. Now, what are the benefits if you do curriculum books? Obviously, it's going to take you longer, but it'll make your concepts very clear. Swayzer is a summarized version. It'll take you lesser time, but still covers like 90 to 95% of what you require to be covered. So guys, if you ask me, ideally, you should do curriculum books. But let's say you think you cannot spend those 600 hours because you're working full time or you're doing a full-time college or whatever. So in that case, instead of doing half the syllabus from curriculum, it's better to do full syllabus from Swayzer. And you can do mix and match. So let's say if you choose Swayzer, if you're comfortable with the topics, do it from Swayzer. If you think that, okay, this topic requires more detail and more in depth, you can go and do it from curriculum. So you can do mix and match as well. But just like a caveat that if you do the curriculum, be ready, that's going to take you almost double the time because it's lengthy. They'll give you lots of example. So they'll give you lots of meat around the bone so that, you can keep it easy for you to understand. The other thing is, guys, the calculator. So in this case, for CFA, you need a calculator and you cannot use a generic calculator. In the sense, you cannot use your Citizen 500 calculator, or you cannot use any other calculator which you have. So there are three prescribed calculators. One is HP 12C. So it's an HP company calculator. And within HP company calculator, the model number you can use is 12C. And there are two calculators from Texas Instrument. So one is BA2 plus, the other one is BA2 professional. Now guys, I don't know why, but I've never seen anybody using HP calculator so far. Nothing against HP guys, and I'm not getting any commission, by promoting Texas, but somehow I never seen anybody using HP calculator. Most of the people use Texas Instrument. So within Texas Instrument, there are two calculators. One is BA2 plus, the other one is BA2 professional. Both are almost similar, except that plus this first one calculator is a plastic body, and this is a metallic body. This should cost you like around 3,000 around. This should cost you around 5,000. So there's a gap in pricing, but this is like a bit more sturdy with a couple of extra, keys and functions. But either one you take, I don't think there should be a problem. So broadly, they are similar calculators. But because this is a metallic body, it has got a longer life and looks much more sturdy. Let's talk about money in the sense like, not the money you'll pay me or EduPristine. This is the money you'll pay to CFA Institute, irrespective whether you go for coaching classes or not, right? So this is the exam fees you directly pay to CFA Institute. So CFA Institute guys will charge you $450 as a one-time registration fees. So you just paid one time, whether you like write level 1 10 times, level 2 many times, it doesn't matter. It's just like a one-time fees for your entire life. Even if you write your exams after 10 years of gap, you do not have to pay this 450 again and again, right? So this 450 you have to pay as a registration to get yourself registered as a student. And then for each and every exam, you have to pay $700 if you register well in advance, or you pay $1,000 if you register like a couple of months before the exams, right? So guys, just to make sure that you get it right, let's say if I'm writing my CFA exam, so the first time I'll pay $450, which is my registration fees, and also I'll pay my level 1 exam fees. which can be $700 to $1,000 depending on when you register for the exam. So if you take the early bird discount, you'll pay 700. If you register it like in a normal timeline, you'll pay $1,000. But when you do level 2, again the same thing. There'll be $700 versus $1,000. And again, when you do level 3, you'll pay $700 and $1,000. So in this case, guys, the total amount you'll pay will be equal to the bare minimum amount you'll pay is $2,550. But let's say if you are not able to register well before the time, you'll end up paying $3,450. So let's say for some exams you register before time, for some other exams you do not register before time. So the total amount will be, let's say, keep an average of 2,500 and 3,500. Let's keep it $3,000. Okay, so this is what you pay to CFA if you clear each level in the first attempt. Okay, so if you clear each and every level in the first attempt, you pay $3,000. But let's say hoping level 1 you will clear in the first attempt, but still, let's say for level 2 or level 3 you have to rewrite the exam. So in that case, there'll be extra $1,000. So if, for example, if you do not clear level 2 in the first attempt, you have to rewrite it. So there'll be another $700. So every time you write any level exam, you have to pay this money. So let's say if you have to write maybe level 1 or level 2 or level 3 one more time, so there'll be extra $1,000. So that will make it $4,000. And then, guys, the fees, the money you pay for your Swayzer books or your calculator and all of that, that is not much. So I think, like in 10 to 15,000 rupees for all the 3 levels I'm talking about. So let's say this is, let's go with this, like what is the bare minimum? Let's say for the calculator, or let me convert this into rupees actually, right? So this multiplied by 75, so it's 2,25,000 rupees. Then if you, for calculator, which is a must, that calculator will cost you another, let's say 4,000. Then Swayzer books, if you buy for each level, it should be like 1,500 multiplied by 3 because you have to buy for all the 3 levels. That's another 4,500. And I think that's about it. So this plus this plus this, that should be like around 2,34,000. But just keep adding more and more if you fail exams once or twice. And then if you take your coaching classes, that'll be over and above extra. So this is how they'll give you the results, guys. So like, give me 1 second. Right, so you guys, like this dotted line is like the passing line. So if you get a score above this passing line, it's a clear pass. If you get a score below this line, you failed the exam. But many times when they give you a chart, your score might be just on the line. So in that case, you cannot just make out looking at the chart, you have to look at the result. For example, they'll give you a pass or fail. So in this case, it's like, it's a bit of luck factor, whether they give you a pass or they give you a fail. So generally you're hoping for this kind of a mark sheet where the score, which is your shaded blue, is above the dotted line. Now, the point is, like, let's say if you do CFA, what kind of jobs you get into? So you might get into investment companies, mutual funds. So in case of India, you might get into Citibank, HSBC Bank, Goldman Sachs, HSBC, I said, Deutsche Bank. You might get into Society General, right? And there are lots of mutual funds as well, right? You can get into Kotak, you can get into HDFC, you can get into ICICI. So there's so many financial institutes you can become part of. There are lots of private client wealth management services. There are family offices. You become an investment banker, you become a sales and research analyst, and you can get into consulting as well. So guys, generally the way I see it, like CFA is more of a MBA in general management. So it keeps lots of options open. Now, for people like who wants to get into research, when I say research, like the financial research, who wants to do number crunching, who are interested into stock market, how the economy performs. So for those kind of people, this program is very helpful. Now, this is just like, guys, from the CFA Institute website, that which are the top employers in India who are hiring CFA professionals. So as I told you, it includes Citi, CRISIL, Deutsche Bank, Goldman Sachs, HSBC, ICICI, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Nomura, State Bank of India. So like lots of financial institutes would hire CFA professionals in India. So that's broadly about CFA, guys. I will not take too much time on EduPristine. I'll just do it quickly, and then we'll close it there, and then you can ask me some questions. So give me another 10 minutes. So on EduPristine, guys, the offer they have, like, sorry, when I say the offer, like the offering they have for CFA classes. So let's say if you enroll for the CFA coaching classes with EduPristine, you'll get 24 days of classroom. Right now, when I say classroom, guys, it depends, like how the COVID-19 cases are increasing. So it might be either virtual or in the physical classroom. So in this case, when I say 24 days, each session is for 5 hours. So 24 into 5 will make it 120 hours. So there are 24 sessions of 5 hours each. Now, lecture time, it can be 92 in the morning, or it can be 3 to 8 in the evening, depending on what's your commitment and how many people opt for which particular batch. So in this case, guys, if you opt for a classroom training, besides those 120 hours of a session, so like, the session will be like this, similar to this. If it's a virtual one, if it's a classroom one, then you know, right, how it will be. So in that case, you get access to those 120 hours of sessions, plus all the sessions will get recorded and they will be available to you online, just in case you miss some classes or you want to go through some of the topics again, so you can watch that recording. Plus, there will be, once you're done with those 120 hours, there will be a crash course given to you. So because because you have done the entire curriculum just before the exam, we do a crash course where we do, just a revision of the key concepts, and we do lots of practice questions. And plus, guys, you get a facility where you can ask your questions 24/7. You can put that question in the portal, and somebody from the institute will get some faculty associated and answer your queries. So this is broadly what you get if you enroll for and this is like a full blown coaching. But then what EduPristine has done is they've put a la carte as well. So either you go for a full blown of it, or what you can do is don't take the regular classes, just take the so instead of doing the classroom, just take the live training, online training. In that case, instead of you going into a classroom, it will be virtual. Even if COVID-19 cases are not there, it'll continue to be online. It'll never go classroom. Or guys, you have an option that if you enroll for this, you'll get an access to crash course. But if you don't want the regular classes and you think you've already done the syllabus and you do not want any hand holding in the form of like somebody telling you, all the topics, some people apply only for the crash course where they come. That's like only for 40 hours. So there'll be 8 hours per day into 5 days. So, like the entire topic done within those 40 hours. But obviously, it'll be very fast paced, and it's only useful if you've done the syllabus already. Now, why EduPristine, guys? So one thing, and okay, you'll say like, oh, everybody says this, that feedback matters a lot. When I say feedback matters a lot, as a faculty, let's say if I'm training you guys for one of the sessions, and if you maybe you don't like the way I speak, you don't like my accent, you do not like my shirt I'm wearing, it can be anything. So all of you give a feedback in the sense of like on a scale of 1 to 5 on various parameters. So if that score is, let's say, less than 4. So on a scale of 1 to 5, if that score is less than 4, not just from one of you, but on an average, I'll never get a class. You'll never see me again. And for me, like some of the component, like some of the payments, a major chunk of the payment which I get from the institute is dependent on the score. So, like you give me a score of 4.5 versus 4.7 versus 4 impacts the payment I get from the institute. So that way, guys, first of all, I should be mature as a faculty that I come only for those topics which I'm good at. But if I'm not mature and I'm just like a bit greedy, or let's do it and make some money, even if I don't know it, you should be mature as a student, that you not just because don't be like nice. It's important that your time is important. So in that case, give a proper and a practical feedback without being nice. They got like lots. They do not entertain like a batch size of 50 or 70. Generally, they try to restrict it between 25 to 30 people. And once you enroll for the classes, guys, there are lots of uncertainty in the market with respect to COVID-19. Let's say even if you register for August, whether you're able to write in August or not. So in that case, they give you a 1-year validity. What do I mean by 1-year validity? Let's say you enroll for the classes today in March, and let's say you thought you'll write the exams in August. So you attended the classes, but just before the exam, or even if you wrote the exam, you could not pass. Without paying anything more, you can continue with the second batch of the classes, and you can write the exams next March or next February. So once you pay, you can go to any number of classes for next 1 year, but the batch should be available. Now, one thing is CFA training, but also they make you like a full job ready. Now, that's not relevant for many of you who already have a work experience, but especially for the people like, who will be fresher and coming out of college and have not got the corporate experience. So you would know, right? Like the soft skills, the interview, the group discussion, all of that is important for any company's hiring process. So CFA, sorry, the EduPristine will also help you with those training part. And then, guys, they will also guide you and support you in terms of getting you the references and getting you the job referrals. This is what I was telling you that, so for EduPristine, the average rating for all the trainers from the students is 4.73 on a scale of 5 on an average. They give you a placement assistance, I was telling you. So they'll help you in making your resume. Also, they'll help you in preparing for the interviews, and also they'll give you some of the leads that, okay, this company is hiring, so do you want to send your resume to this particular email ID? Now, EduPristine has delivered lectures in some of these big financial institutes. And also, they have got some trainers coming from these institutes. So guys, now you may have lots of questions in the sense that when the batch starts, what are the timings? Will it be Saturday or Sunday or Saturday plus Sunday? So these things like EduPristine decides depending on the interest from the students. So most of you will get a call from the CF Institute, sorry, from EduPristine, my bad. So you'll get a call from EduPristine team asking for like what's your preferences, whether you're interested or not, and all of those details. But in case you do not get a call, I'll give you a number where you can get in touch with. Yeah, so you can contact Gaurav Sharma on this number, but wait for like I'll say like till Monday and Tuesday. Mostly you'll get a call. If you don't get a call, you can get in touch with Gaurav on this email ID and this phone number. So that said, guys, like that's broadly from my side. So just uh, I would not know when the batch is starting because that depends on you guys, how many of you are interested, what's the preference, and EduPristine is going to hold many of these seminars over the next couple of days. So they'll make the entire list of people who are interested into what batch and all of it, and accordingly they'll decide when the batch should start, what should be the timing of the batch, and so on. So if you can avoid the questions on that side, leave those questions, keep those questions for Gaurav, who can answer those questions. But besides that, if you got any other questions, I'm happy now. So let's open to the floor now. And you can ask me any question with respect to your CFA, with respect to what EduPristine has to offer, and any other question you might have. Okay, so that's a good question from Bhavesh. So if you want to become a charter holder, you have to clear all the three exams, all the three levels. And along with that, you need a professional work experience of 3 to 4 years. So what's being counted in that professional work experience? So there are a couple of rules in that case, that the professional work experience is counted if and only if it comes after your graduation. So let's say after your 12th and before your graduation, or during your graduation, if you've done some articleship, internship, or some other kind of things, that's not counted. It has to be after your graduation. And the second key important thing, guys, it should be associated with CFA. So for example, you cannot be in sales. That won't be counted. It has to do something with any of the topics we do in CFA. So let's say if you're working in a bank, that should be counted. If you're working in a marketing firm, but your job is more finance, that will be counted. So anything which is finance related, that should be fine. Anuj, you got multiple questions. Let me try to answer one by one. So how would I have to pay for CFA registration and exams? Like, would it be through internet banking, debit card, or anything else? Anuj, from what I know is that is generally being paid through your credit card, but that should be an credit card or a debit card, but it should be an international one, which allows you to make international payments. What is the source site of getting jobs? So the jobs will be, the placements support will be provided by EduPristine. So what they will do is like they'll keep sending you emails with respect to any job reference after you do the training. Is your institute provides placement? If yes, then with which organization are you partnered with? So as I showed you, like on one of the slides, they provide coaching classes and they have close association with some of the big financial firms. So I do not have a list of companies which they have partnered with, but they have got like some firms. So maybe, like Gaurav Sharma or somebody in the Edupristine team would be best one to answer them. After which level of exam, it would be better to switch if you are into service and delivery operations under the business unit of advisory? That's a very good question. So Anuj, let's say if you got only 1 or 2 years of experience, and after you clear level 2, I think you should be good to move your profile around. But let's say if you got a 10-year of experience, then only after level 2 it might be difficult. You might also need level 3 to make the move. But let's say you got 20 years of experience, and even if you do level 3, it might not be so easy to make that career move in India. Because in India, I would say like still stereotype that people label you, or you are an operations guy and you've done operations for 20 years, you cannot do finance, which is not a good thing, which is not a mature thing, but this is how Indian job markets work. What is the average package after completion of all CFA levels? That's a very, very tricky one. I can give you a range. Let's say if you clear all the 3 levels of CFA, and then I would really be surprised that, and let's say if you got a good communication skills, so in that case, I would really be surprised if you make anything less than 10 lakh rupees to start with. If you do not have anything else, like, let's say you did your graduation, you did your CFA, all 3 levels, I'll be really surprised if you get less than 10 lakh rupees per year in the first year of job experience. Now, that being said, guys, it depends a lot on the market conditions. Let's say if you are seeking for a job in 2006 and 7, when the finance market was at the top, you might make 15 to 20 lakh rupees. But if you are searching for a job when it was 2009 or 2020, which just went by, you'll be lucky even to get a job. So it depends a lot on the market conditions. But assuming that the market conditions are all right, and also you have got a good communication skills, 10 to 12 lakh rupees in your first year of experience should be easy. So I think, Anuj, I've answered all of your questions. Let's go to other questions. As of now, I'm pursuing BMS third year, but would you prefer me to pursue MBA in finance before going in all out for CFA? Huh. So that's a good thing, guys. So CFA versus MBA versus CA, right? That's a big debate. So many people ask me, should I do MBA or CFA? I would say do MBA and CFA. I know it's difficult, but try. And you can postpone your CFA, I would say, to some extent, but don't postpone your MBA too much. The reason being, once you postpone your MBA, let's say you get married, you got kids, it becomes difficult, to do that 2-year full-time MBA course. That's my personal suggestion, but you're smart enough to decide. So, Sachin, on your question, MBA or CFA, it's MBA and CFA. Which one to do before and which one to do after? Try to do both simultaneously. But otherwise, I would say that don't postpone your MBA, because it becomes difficult with every passing year that you can get out of your home for 2 years and pursue that full-time MBA. Yogita, she says that I'm still in second year of fourth semester and pursuing BCom. So when should I apply for it? So Yogita, as soon as you enter into your fifth semester, which is your third year of college, you can apply for it. Can we complete articleship simultaneously with levels? Which articleship you're talking about, Vishal? Sorry. Or are you talking about the job experience, what you need for CFA? So that's not articleship per se, because in case of articleship, you have to take a particular profile with a particular audit firm. In case of CA, here you can do a normal job. So it's a very different thing compared to articleship in case of CFA. I landed a PPO offer from Bain and Company. Joining is after my final exam, that is May. Any pointers on time management? When can one study who is working professional and can't quit? I love that question, Parth. So let me answer that. Okay, so guys, I'll just give you a short story about myself. Like when I was doing my CFA, so that was my first job in a sell side research. And my job timings will be, like I'll go to office at 10 in the morning, and generally it will be till 10 in the night. And you're staying as a bachelor, so like this is your first time away from parents, this is the first time you got your own money. So do you want to enjoy? Yes. But like your work is very hectic, 12 hours a minimum. Sometimes you work on weekends as well. You want to enjoy Friday nights and Saturday nights, because this is the time you enjoy. Oh, but at the same time I have to study for my CFA. So in this case, all I'm saying is the best time management would be that make a schedule for yourself. So for example, let's say I'm sitting in March and you register for August. Simple funda, there are 5 months remaining. For working professionals, the way I'll do the planning is on a weekly basis. So 5 months would mean maybe 21 weeks, or let's be conservative. That's equal to 20 weeks. And as I told you that you need to study for 400 hours. So you need 20 hours per week. Now, in my case, guys, it's very difficult. It was very difficult that, I have to do my own laundry. I have to do my own cooking. I have to do all the stuff by myself after a 12 hours of hectic job. And sometimes it'll be beyond 12 hours as well. But still, I made it a point that even if it's for half an hour or 45 minutes, I'll do like that half an hour, 45 minutes on a daily basis. So maybe from Monday to Friday, all I'll be able to do is like 2 to 3 hours. But on Saturday and Sunday, you cannot afford to waste it. So the way I have put it in my mind, that every time I waste a weekend, I'm wasting one weekend out of 20 weekends. So I'm moving 5% away from my goal. So I made it a point, like, okay, I didn't go for movies because, that I could always postpone. But there, yes, I could still party out. I could still get drunk. on Friday nights, but with an objective that by Saturday afternoon, I'll be up, completely sober, and I can start studying for my CFA. So from Saturday afternoon till Sunday night, I'll do those 15 to 18 hours. So I know it's difficult because you're going to spend that personal time on CFA, but this is how it is. And with every passing year, guys, it'll become difficult. For example, as of now, okay, I'm not able to party out very often, but think about after 5 years, you got married, you got kids. It'll become even more frustrating that, instead of like spending time with your family, you're spending time on CFA week after week after week. So get it done as soon as possible. Do not postpone it. So Parth, I hope I answered that question of yours. What are the charges of EduPristine? So probably like, I don't know that question again. So Gaurav Sharma, like the number I gave you, he's the best person to answer. So just to make it clear, guys, so I'm not part of EduPristine Institute. I'm a freelancer. So I can help you with all the CFA related questions and some of the offerings from EduPristine, but all the admin things like, how much they charge, when the batch time starts and all of that, I won't be the best person to answer. Sorry about that. I'm working under a CFP. Will it count? Bhavesh, can you just detail it out? Like what do you mean when you say CFP? But yes, anything related to finance that will be counted as a work experience. Can CFA help in getting job at foreign university as an academician? That's a very niche question, Rajneesh. I may not be the best person to answer, but if you want to get PhD and all, I don't know. Maybe not, or maybe yes. I don't know. Sorry. I don't want to give you any, you know, uh, bad answers. Uh, why it's showing Sachin as my name though? Oh, sorry. Yeah. So Rishikesh, sorry. Yeah, it shows Sachin. So that's the reason when I was answering your question, I kept calling you Sachin. Any which ways. Let's go on. Let's see any more questions. Okay. Total cost of CFA all three levels with EduPristine education class. So see, I did that thing, right? So let's say if you clear everything in the first attempt for CFA Institute, you'll pay 2,33,000. And then I don't know, like, which particular package you take with EduPristine. So let's say, I don't know, I'm just putting a number, guys, don't hold it against me, but let's say 30,000 into three, that's another 90,000. So it'll come to like 3 lakh, 3.5 lakhs. But I don't know whether it's 30,000 or 40,000. Can I get the PPT presentation? Unfortunately not, but if you are interested, I can go to a particular slide and you can take a picture of it, Kuntal. Let me know. To know the fees for EduPristine, as I said, get in touch with Gaurav on that number and you'll get a call from the institute any which ways. And you can ask, all those queries. Okay, then can a guy with CFA degree who has a consultancy firm from company like Bain switch to investment banking and land jobs in banks like Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan? Yes. So I would say that your consulting profile is not very different compared to what the investment banks do. So yes, it's easy to make a switch. But again, guys, it depends, right? That if you're making that switch after 1 or 2 years, very easy. If you're making that switch after 15 years of experience, might become difficult. Okay, guys, so we got like a couple of minutes more. Thank you very much, guys, for who attended. Wait for a call from the CFA Institute in case you got any query. But if you don't get it, feel free to call Gaurav Sharma on this number. And I'm here for another couple of minutes if you got any questions. But if not, guys, feel free to log out. Thank you, guys. And it was a pleasure to have you here. Would it make any difference in my resume if I don't pursue MBA in finance, but have cleared all the levels of CFA? So see, MBA plus CFA will always hold more value than only CFA. So a recruiter, let's say, this happened with me. Like we wanted to hire somebody for a sell side research firm, and then we put out a ad in the market that we want to hire a CFA. Trust me, there are like 50 profiles with CFA designation. So we said, okay, not only CFA, you should also be a CFA plus MBA. So that when you say MBA, generally the perception is that these people will be okay or will be slightly more better when it comes to soft skills. So that becomes a filter. So yes, CFA plus MBA is always better than only CFA. Path, yes. So in case of getting a back office job versus a front office job, so in India, there are lots of back end jobs and front end jobs. And if you depends, so let's say when you are working in Bain and Company, if that is a front end, the chance of you getting in a front end of investment banking is high. But in Bain and Company, if you are into back end, the chance of you getting into front end for investment banking is less. So it's easy to move from front end to front end rather than moving from back end to front end. Can you get a job even after clearing CFA level 1? I would say you have to be very, very optimistic. So assume no. If you get it, you'll be lucky. But don't have any expectation around that. See, simple funda, right? If it was so easy to get a job, why will do people do CA or MBA? People do simply CFA level 1. So I don't want to give you any false hopes, but no, generally you'll really, really find it difficult to get a job after CFA level 1. After level 2, I would still say like you need a bit of luck to get a job, but you should get a job. After level 3, you have to be really unlucky or the market conditions has to be really screwed up for you not to get a job. Okay, so Path, in your case, if you're into front end of Bain and Company, so I would say like, do your job. Along with that, do your CFA preparation. Sounds good. And then make a change once you clear your level 2 or once you clear your level 1, 2 or level 3. So don't wait for anything. That's what I'm saying. So, these early years of your career are very important. Be a bit aggressive so that you can make a place for yourself at a very high designation. Okay, guys, last 1 or 2 questions, if any. Avish, like average hours required to do both CFA and MBA simultaneously. So see, MBA I cannot comment on. It depends from college to college. It depends from professor to professor, and it depends on you, like how seriously you take the case studies and your test and exams and all of it. So I cannot comment on the MBA part of it. But for CFA, I would say you need 400 hours for level 1. CFA Institute will tell you like you need 300 hours, but I would say like if you're not if you want to be very sure that you pass in the first attempt, take it 400 hours. Is it easy to manage both together? No, for sure not. But that being said, it's easy to put that hard work in your early age rather than after 10 years of experience when you're already at a senior position, when you got kids and wife. Uh, what is the right attempt to appear after third year or during third year of graduation? I would say that do it during your third year. So do it as early as possible. Is it okay to go for distance MBA? I would say no, because if you do a full-time MBA, let's say that's worth 100 points on your resume. Distance MBA will be worth only 5 to 10 points on your MBA, on your resume. Not just a resume, but even the learning you have got is only through you being in the campus. You getting you interacting with those colleagues on a day-to-day basis. So I would like see this COVID-19 has changed this thing completely because everything is a distance MBA now. But given a choice, it's so much important that you stay in the campus, you interact, you coordinate, and that's the main learning. So distance MBA does not have much value on your resumes. Okay, guys, so I think that's about it. Thank you very much, and all the best with respect to your decision for CFA, and look forward to see you again. Thank you, guys.